Okay, hey, I'm usually like showing the horse or riding the horse or something like that. I'm not usually like sitting in front of the camera talking to you. But I really wanted to sit down and do a video about equine nutrition, specifically about Hickory. Obviously, I am not a nutritionist yet. I would love to do some like nutrition schooling and classes and different things like that. I did sign up for an equine body worker certification, so I'm in the process of learning that right now. But I am by no means your vet. I am by no means diagnosing or saying that Hickory's equine nutrition plan is your horse's nutrition plan. But with that being said, I'll tell you where I went to, who I'm dealing with, and I'll link their information in the video because I think that this has been life-changing for Hickory and I, next to the saddle fitting. So the last video that I did was the saddle fitting. That one was eye-opening. I mean, I could go deep talk into how I knew things were wrong with the saddle, and then as I started trying other saddles and then I bought a new one that actually fit him and I, what a difference that has made our riding. But in correlation with that, I think that this nutrition stuff that I've been working on with April Schaeffer from Schaeffer Body Works has been the other puzzle piece to that. Plus Hickory's lifestyle change where I moved him, how he's living his life now. I think all of they're like, it's all puzzle pieces that make it possible and really show me how much nutrition, lifestyle, movement, exercise, routine, all these things work together. So this particular video, I just want to focus on the nutrition stuff because I feel like there's a lot and I don't like the videos to be like super long or drawn out. But with that being said, so April Schaeffer with Schaeffer Body Works is a local body worker. That's where I'm doing my certification for my body work. She is also now a certified nutritionist, and she works alongside or through the certification of Energy Equine Medicine, Dr. Audrey. So I sent off, well, first I guess I should say, like, I called her and I was like, I want to do this equine nutrition analysis consultation, I think she calls it. So I did. I paid $75, I think it was, for her, and we talked about his like nutrition plan. So at the time, I was feeding Tough as Nails by Tribute. I was feeding the Purina. Which one was it? I have it written down somewhere in here. The Purina Outlast was one that I had him on, and then I was going to switch him from the Purina Ration Balancer to Tribute's Ration Balancer. Purina Enrich, that's what it was. Purina Enrich Plus. So I had him on the Tough as Nails by Tribute. I had him on the Purina Enrich Plus. I had him on Platinum Performance. And I was thinking about taking him off the Purina Enrich and putting him on the Tribute Essential K. So what I really thought, like, oh, you know, like Tribute seems like they have really good stuff, low in sugar, low in starch, all these things. Well, then as I started researching and talking with April about the current diet that he was on, I realized how much crap they're putting in his food. Between the soybeans and the soybean meal and the meddling and the cane molasses and just all kinds of byproducts, rice brands, just tons and tons of hidden sugar. Now, when I bought him, he had that white line issue that I've showed you guys in the other videos. Little did I understand at the time that a lot of hoof issues are linked to nutrition issues and problems that kind of we're creating. Low movement, high sugars, just bad diets, and, you know, possibly bad hoof care. We don't know what kind of hoof care he had either. So it was really eye-opening sitting down and talking about these particular feeds that are on the market, really easy to buy. Go to Tractor Supply, Roll King, whatever, get them. They're there, you know. They have these great labels that look like you're doing the right thing. So my trainer that I moved Hickory to at Shade Tree Stables was using a company called Kiss Trace. I'll show you the bag. So I got the Kiss Trace pellets. They also have powder. And here, I live in the Midwest, they have a low selenium option. But you don't have to get that one. They have other options to choose from at Kiss. And Patrice, the owner, she's out of like West Virginia. You can call her. She answers the phone. She answers your questions. She talks to you, and she helps get you set up on whatever you need. So I had talked with her and went into a deep dive, did a webinar, learning about her product, talked with April and the nutrition stuff. And so the obsession of learning what I can do better for my horse began. So the really interesting and cool thing about this whole nutrition thing, I'm going to flip the camera so you can see. Okay, so I not only got like a 31 page, so I did 2 tests so far. So the first test that I did was in August. Oh, I sent it out at the end of July, got it back on August 6th. She gives you a full report. It started out like 11 pages or something, and then it went on to 31 pages as I've moved on. So, I mean, these are back-to-back, in-depth detail of Hickory and every single mineral, every single toxin that pulls up. I mean, it just, and it goes in, like, it'll tell you, like, his zinc is above average. We're adding the copper to balance that out. And it goes into, like, how zinc works and why it works that way. So, needless to say, there is a ton of information to be learned. So I did the consultation with her. I learned about all these different foods. And so I started changing his diet. Just at first, we wanted to go straight anti-inflammatory because of the white line disease and some other stuff. She thought, does he have insulin resistance or something? We don't know. So we went anti-inflammatory. So the first thing that I did was I didn't just like tear him off all of his food. I added the Stanley Timothy pellets because he's an easy heaper, so he can get fat on air, as everybody always jokes. So I just bought these like bins at Tractor Supply, and with the bins, I'm running low. This is just the Timothy pellets. I got a scoop, and I just buy the Stanley Timothy pellets. So the first thing that I added to his diet, that was kind of easy peasy. I didn't feel worried about adding it. Went from there. Next thing I did was transition him off of the Tough as Nails by Tribute, and I transitioned him on to the Kiss Trace. I just did that gradually because I didn't want to like overdo it. Also, something that I started right away was the Triple Crown ground flax. So these are other bucket right here, and I just keep it right here. So it's literally just ground up flax. So this is like a fat, and then I keep the Kiss Trace there, and I just go through and fill. So I added the Timothy pellets first, then I added the flax, started giving him that, slowly transitioned him out of the Tribute Tough as Nails and into the Kiss Trace. And then from there, we started talking about sodium levels. So I started adding sodium to his diet. And, you know, they can recommend how much sodium and what he needs or what your gelding, stallion, mare, or whatever they need. Now, I opted into doing a mane test because I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what I was dealing with. So, once I got him on the forage pellets, transitioned him off the tribute onto the Kiss Trace, had him onto the flaxseed for some fat, I added some non-iodized salt. So I just bought this on Amazon, and that I just add like a tablespoon, and they can give you the recommended amounts of what you should add, but that's the sodium that I added to his diet. Now, whenever I did the mane test, they sent a little, what do I call it? They sent like a little strip of paper that showed like how much hair you need to take from his mane. It had a diagram on how to like cut it and to use stainless steel scissors. And so I snipped it. I measured it out on the little card that they gave me, put it in the envelope that they provided, and sent it off. And then, like a week or two later, I got his first result. So these are his mane test results. And I'm not going to like necessarily like bore you with all the results, but I just want you to see what I'm dealing with. So they go into all the elements. If they're in low, preferred or high range, they look to see if there's any toxic elements in his diet, any other additional elements that might pop up, and then calcium, cobalt, so on and so forth. And in your test, they give you back a full explanation of what is what it does, why it's there, and then a recommendation on how to keep it there, make it better, make it go down, make it go up, whatever it is that your animal needs. So, end of July, at the end of October, I sent in for another test to see where he was at. So if I just kind of zoom out here a little bit, you can see how these numbers have changed quite drastically. Everything is moving more into the preferred range. There are a few things that shot up. And so what they found out with my guy is he might actually be kind of a low metabolizer, which he's a draft cross, Percheron specifically. So, I don't know if Percherons specifically have low metabolism or drafts in general have low metabolism, but that could very well be one of the reasons. I know that like Gypsy Vanners sometimes can be insulin resistant and things like that. So maybe there's something that goes into that. Those are all things that I hope to learn over time, but I'm just sharing what I know now. So you can see how detailed the graph is on what his mane test shows. You can see my 30-something pages of information about what element is what it does for the body, why it's important, what affects what, like if there's too much iron versus too much potassium, too much calcium, not enough of this, that, the other. And, I sat down and I read these in depth and I shared them with my trainer. And I've been doing everything I can to kind of figure it out and work it out. So with all of that information, and by the way, the lady that I work with, April, she's extremely available, which I really appreciate because I'm a person who asks 1 zillion questions a day because my brain thinks all the time. And she's always willing to answer them, or she can refer me back to what page I should re-review, because obviously we can read 30 pages, but we can't necessarily remember all 30 pages all the time. So if something pops in your brain, you can go back and reread it, or she can refer you back, or just answer your question outright if that's the case too. She does both. So, with that, after adding the pellets, the flax, changing them from Tribute, tough as nails, onto Kiss Trace, and not everybody, like Kiss Trace might not be for everybody, or it might be great for your horse, but they can kind of tell you those things depending on what vitamins and minerals they need. Your horse might need Kiss Trace, or they might need Vermont Blend, or they might need California Trace, or whatever is best for them. But, those three are really wonderful products from different choices. So I would definitely say, like, there's nothing wrong with doing your own research, but also having a professional tribe behind you is life-changing. At least for me, it was. I can't know everything. They can't know everything. So together, hopefully, we all know more together and grow stronger and wiser. So with that being said, I added the sodium, and I added a gut health helper. So there were different options that I could choose from. I had heard another gal that I know was using Silver Lining. Switched over and bought the Gut Support by Silver Lining. And so I give him a tablespoon of that in his food as well. So that I added the Gut Support. And then from there, I pretty much kept it simple with the pellets, the flax, ground so you're not just staring at it, the pellets, the flax, the kiss, and the gut. So then 90 days goes by, right, August, September, yep, 90 days goes by, I retest, find out that we need to adjust some things. So now what I've added is, since he's a low metabolizer, and I already have an automatic plan, got him the Silver Lining liver support that I added on to the automatic plan. Now he may be on this just for like 60 to 90 days and then they'll pop off of it again if his metabolism starts to catch up and show up. But this will help support his liver while he is working through all of that. But on top of that, we also added some natural herbs, which I was giving him before. I was giving him some chamomile and things like that. But we added a dandelion tea, a nettle, and rosehip. Ironically, I already have all these things in my tea drawer. I buy them from Mountain Rose Herbs, and I just grind these ones up in my, I have like an old coffee grinder that I made specifically for Hickory and his food, and I just grind them up and put them in there, and then I measure out my serving, and that's what he gets. So we added those herbs, put this away, and then we added Silent Cinnamon. Got it on Amazon. Who knew that the cinnamon we got in the store was not pure cinnamon? It has cormon and some other stuff added to it. So I ordered this, and he gets some tablespoons of this to add to his diet as well, which I thought was really interesting. And then he did need the addition of copper. So I bought him this particular copper to add to his food. So with all of that, I keep the best records that I can through my main tests, through the paperwork that she sends me. And then I actually put together Tupperware meals for him. So I put his kiss trace, his flax, I put his liver support, his gut support, some sodium, his herbal blends in there, his copper and some cinnamon, all that's in there. I put the hay pellets on top. That way when he's at his barn, they just flip that into a little feed dish and add water to it. He does not like it soupy. He is not a soupy guy. So he just likes his hay pellets just softened a little bit. And yeah, so then he just eats that for his food. Where the barn that he's at, he only gets fed once a day. So that's just like his meal for the day. And then he's on 24/7 forage. So he just eats hay or grass. But right now it's now winter and we don't have grass. We just have snow. So that is where we're at with his nutrition. And I can see a huge difference in him. He seems so much happier. He seems so much healthier. He's more willing to want to go play and do groundwork and ride. Comes right up to me at the gate. I just feel so blessed. He just seems so much happier since I've changed him to all of this. So I wanted to share what I've learned about this nutrition stuff, and I will link April Schaeffer's Bodyworks in the description of the video. I would, it was $175. It was $75 for the consult from what I understand, what I remember, and then I paid like $100 for each main test. So far I've spent $200 on main tests, and I'm going to test again in spring and see if all the levels have leveled off. And if they are, I think we just stay good from there. And if he seems weird or if he needs something else, then we'll go from there. One additive that I'm going to add for winter is I'm going to add some vitamin E, because he's not on grass anymore, and he's not going to be on grass probably until, I don't know, April or June. It just depends. Like last year we got so much rain, it's like they couldn't be on the grass because it was just mud. But I think the vitamin E will help, since he gets his vitamin E from fresh grass and he's not getting that right now. And vitamin E is a very important one for their bodies. So I ordered a vitamin E powder from Amazon, and so that's supposed to come in. I'm going to add that to his food just to keep him going through the winter, and then I can back him off of that once he's on fresh grass again. But I don't want to go too long with this, but that is where I'm at with the nutrition. I will do a video of just like where he's living right now in the track system. Whenever we move to our farm, I want to do something very similar. So I thought I'd kind of show what my inspiration was that my trainer has offered to us and where we're living at right now. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer whatever questions you can. Again, not a vet, I'm not a nutritionist, but I will help in whatever way I can. I would definitely say if you feel like your horse is not happy and not living its best life, start with its diet. Food is the key to so much. Exercise, another huge key to life and success. Seeing is truly believing in these situations, and I'm really passionate about a lot of things that I do in life, but I don't have a whole lot of interest. I do my art and I do my horses. I love my animals, and nutrition is a big thing with my husband and I, and we try to be as good as we can. So I think that just rubs off onto our animals. And after seeing Hickory's improvement through diet and life change, with more movement, and it's just happier horse and happier rides, more fun training. It makes life worth living to see him grow and change in a more positive way. So yeah, I'll link all that. Feel free to contact me or seek out Schaeffer Bodyworks for some nutritional help. And I hope this helps somebody out there that might be looking for some answers. So thanks for watching.